He's flying! Yes! There's history!
Now in front, the crowd roaring, go, Lonro, go! But the 3-year-old's in front, Delsayo, Lonro, he's coming, he's going to get there! Yes, Lonro won it! Proud by my Whisper, my Whisper won the last.
Welcome, punters, to another episode of the Whispers Racing Podcast. Aussie Cup Day, whatever races are in Sydney, however you live and however you're going to call this weekend. Welcome to another episode. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
Going well, mate. Sensational to have the introduction back. I feel like I'm more at home.
Well, it's quite fitting that Lonro's given up stud duties and he gets a little mention. I've never known it. It might be the only bloke that is angry that he's not rooting anymore.
Mate, you might talk about this a bit later, but you might need to be slipping a horse starting with the letter A into the intro at some stage.
Artorias, yes. I'll find a way when it wins in England. But we'll move on. We're going to preview the Reid races 5 and 8 from Flemington. Bets around the grounds, the multi, the pineapple. If you're on socials, we found the pineapple. So sorry about that if you didn't see it, but it's okay. I'll cover you this week again. Talking points, Matty. We'll start with Dubai Honour v Animo match race coming up in a couple of weeks. Wowee, this is something for Sydney.
Oh, wow, what a winner it was. I mean, Gold Trip, the Melbourne Cup winner, raced over 1,600 metres the race before this and looked like it was going to be taking these right to the cleaners. And the UK horse came over and absolutely gapped them.
Yeah. I didn't think it'd win by that far, but I've never left watching a race on the TV at the 200 and just put my hand in the air and walked away because it was dead set. It flogged them. Good to see. But then Animo, I gave it none where it landed, and just that fight, its grit, just a line chaser. It's great to see.
Absolutely. I had something small on the second horse, Fangirl, but I was cheering for Animo. I just couldn't take the $1.60. It floated out to $1.80, which I could have entertained. But I thought Fangirl's run was unbelievable. Animo, honestly, sitting in the car park and showing that much determination across the last 200 metres just shows you that it does need to be mentioned with other champions within Australian racing.
Yep, 100% agree. It shouldn't have won. It's just plain and simple. Horses don't win what happened to it in run, and I don't know if I call it a champion now or if it beats Dubai Honour. Because if it beats Dubai Honour in 2-3 weeks' time, I'm happy to call it a champion because it looks like Dubai Honour could be back to its best, which I mentioned on last week's podcast. If it bring that Meydan form, it would flog them. But I was just query that it might have been done. But, any early thoughts who you'd lean to, Matty?
And don't question yourself, mate. You're all in Dubai Honour's corner. You tipped it. Who would I lean towards? I'd probably lean towards the hometown hero, but I'll have to say I haven't actually gone back and had a look at the numbers of what Dubai Honour ran. I know it looked very impressive, but we just need to go back and see what that is in comparison to Animo's best. And we'll go from there. So right now, I'll sit on that spiky fence.
Yeah, no, fair enough. It's, your barrier draws could play a big part here, and you just don't know. 10 minutes before the race, Dubai Honour could throw a shoe, and it's chips in Animo. So, good race. Can't wait. We'll definitely preview it because it's going to be a match race for the ages, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It definitely might make the promo if it wins. Track stats. We're going to do 2 track stats here, Flemington and Moonee Valley. We'll start with Moonee Valley Friday night. Rail True, last night meeting of the summer series, you could say. Normally this meeting is hard up on rail just because it's chewed up. It's had a lot of traffic on it, and it's had 2 extra meetings than last year. So if the rain stays away, that rail could be really hot. And I thought it was a little bit hot last week, rails in run. So just tread carefully. Leader wins at 45%, mids and rear win at 23% each. Lanes 1 and 3, 40%. Lanes 4 and 7, 52%. 8 plus 9%. So definitely look for your on-pace runners. Flemington rail out 8 metres here. That's a bit weird for a Group 1. Leader wins at 33, mids 31, and rear 36%. So it's going to be quite even. Lanes here, very interesting. 1 to 3, 20%. 4 to 7, 44%. Lanes 8 to 11, 18%, and 12 plus 17. So just off pace, I reckon we can really be looking for horses. Trial trackers, I found one at the Valley, race 3, number 2, Shawsey. It's had 2 jump outs. I've really liked most of them. And the most recent one was the one that caught my eye. Winning by 7 lengths. Time was really good. Really liked this horse's last 200 metres. It was pushed out and extended really well. I don't think the market has reacted to this jump out because it's 9.50 and 2.30. I'm definitely having a 1x3 play here. From barrier 10, I just hope they go straight outside leader to give this horse a chance of winning or even running a place. Yes, there's a $2 pop in Brave Mead. I think it's Brave Mead. The Kiramar horse, should be winning off its most recent one. But the only knock I've got on it, that last win didn't rate so well off the ratings I used. So its first race, it went better in the rating. So I'm happy to not take it on, but I'm happy to bet around it, especially with this one. I'm purely liking this horse just because of the jump out and of the rating of the $2 pop. Come race day, I'm hoping this horse can give it a shake. That's race 3, the Valley, number 2, Shawsey. All right, as I said, we're going to preview the William Reid races 5 and 8 of Flemington. We'll get stuck into the William Reid. I've just got to find my speed map. There we go. Speed map, I'll have it down below as all we do each week. This is a tricky speed map because Jigsaw's only got one way, and that's to find the rail. And they showed their card 8 weeks ago at the Valley against Snapper, I think it was. And they said post-race, it must find that rail and lead. So I believe they're just going to go handlebars down here. Now, in the Congo from 1, I don't think they're going to hand up either because then they're in the coffin most of this race. So I think they'll kick up 2. This means race on. So if that's the way it's going to be, this is going to be run at a brutal tempo. I think Front Page can roll forward. I think the international here, A Case of You from the Mick Kent and Junior and Mick Pryshard, they can even roll forward from 10. And then you're going to have Babylon Berlin, Chain of Lightning, Imperatriz just smoking the pipe. Imperatriz could be 3 wide, no cover, but if he finds a bum to follow, I'm going to like it even more. And yeah, King of Sparta, Bella Nipotina, they're just going to be back wide and near last. So yeah, tricky race. So taking the map into consideration and the tempo that they're going to go, if Jigsaw obviously doesn't get to that rail, it's going to be brutally run because I think they've only got one option, Jigsaw. In saying all that, I'm going to be with Piritrez. I've got to go again. I think it's just going to be out of trouble out of the map. It's going to be, hopefully, if A Case of You doesn't roll forward, it's going to have 3 wide, no cover. I don't mind that because he's going to be out of trouble. Because Jigsaw in the Congo, if they take each other on, they could be seriously coming back to the field at the 200-metre mark, and we can just push the button and go. I still don't know how we got beat last start being on it for the Pineapple, but we've got to go again because Artorias was super again last start against Animo. I think the 340 is an unbelievable price to be getting involved here because we were asked to take $2 against Artorias, and we just went down by a whisker. Yeah, there's some nice horses in this, or better, but what price would Artorias start in this? I think pretty short. So I think the 340 is a good price. I think they will come for this, and it starts around the 280, 260 at absolute worst. As I said, Jigsaw, I've got a few negatives on this horse, and there's one here that really I dislike. Most recent trial, it missed the kick by 10 lengths and put on a performance like no other. It was like most guys leaving Revolver at 6 a.m., mouth open, wide, pulling their heads off. So I I don't like to see that, because if horses work out that, then they'll continue doing it. Now, I'm not going to question the yard that, it's going to happen again, but they're probably going to get it right, and it'll kick and probably go really well. But once horses start putting in performances like that, they continue it. Look at Chautauqua. He worked it out and just didn't jump in the end. Now, go on .com, look at the most recent replay and make up your own mind. But, I just didn't like how it jumped out and the tempo. There's a lot to be against with this horse. And, it's not a price you want to be laying it, but it's a price I don't want to get involved in. And, too many negatives to the positives. Newmarket horses, I can't be with them. They all just went poor. Just out the back, they set on pace and just gave nothing. So can't be with them either. They just gave us nothing in the Newmarket. So in saying all that, happy to be at Piritres here. Happy to have a good bet and hopefully saluting. Matty, your thoughts?
Yeah, interesting. I like what you're saying about the speed jigsaw, obviously trying to find the rail. Mate, the one that I've landed on, and no surprise, I've backed it previously, in the Congo. Golden Rose winner from back in 2021 September. In 2022, it ran in the Galaxy, ran third, but it was only half a length off. And from there, it went straight to the front as well. I can see it doing something similar here. The Group 2 Arrowfield did exactly the same, ran second to Marzu. And then last year, in the Hunter, up in Newcastle, again, inside barrier number 2, went to the front and got done by 0.3 of a length to, who was it? Valana.
Yep.
In the Hunter. Look, I think it's going to be right there in the finish. I can see it. I think it'll find the lead, and I think it'll be exceptionally hard to beat. Let's put it this way, Worm. It will be in front with 100 metres to go. Whether it can hold on for the last 100, we will find out. But I can definitely see how you've landed it on Imperatrice. But in the Congo, I think we'll find the lead and will be exceptionally hard to beat. So I like also the fact that Mr. Clark has taken the trip down on a Friday night to the Valley.
Yeah, it's the key components of that one. He's not coming down to sit in the coffin, I don't reckon. And that's why I think they push hard. How hard they go is just up to Jigsaw, because they've only got one ammo. And in the Congo, I don't think they're coming to sit in the coffin. Like, if I was an owner, I'd be saying go with it. Try and make every post the winner. If you have to hand up when you're going around the school, hand up. Let him keep pushing. But, you're 100% right, mate. It's game on, and when they're straightening, it's just, are the front two going to come back and sit in a lot of laps, or are they going to be strong and, trying to chase them down? Good race.
I just think it's the perfect draw. Perfect rider on board in the Congo. Looks very well suited here. Again, if there's too much pace on, look for the horses are kind of 2-3 back. They will be coming on.
Yeah, 100%. Good race. Can't wait. Good little card to win the summer series. We'll move over to Saturday, race 5. The Roy Higgins listed 2,600 metres. Speed map down below. I've got Goldman leading from 4. Gay Waterhouse, Adrian Bod. They don't like to hand up. So I think they lead. Aurora Sympathy coming from the Adelaide Cup. I think they come outside and sit outside Goldman. Young Werther, Youth Spirit are both smoking the pipe here. Good runs. I think El Paradiso will put in a better performance and sit a bit closer from 3. So unusual. Interesting here. Barrier 7. The 2 barriers 8 and 9, Sulk and Midnight Blue will go back. But So Unusual has a decision, because if they don't find a gap, they're 3 wide, no cover the race, because I don't think they'll let it in from that barrier. So Dean Holland's going to have to make a decision pretty quick. Do you get in, find a spot? If they find a spot, it's going to be, hard to beat. But, I'm just worried it might be 3 wide, no cover when you got Swords drawn, Algaron on its inside, El Paradiso, Young Werther. They could just make him work for it a little bit. So good tactical race. And, it'd be good to see where they're at after 300 metres. In saying that, I'm happy to be with the fave here, number 10, Goldman. What a prep this been. If you haven't seen it, jump on the Tab app and just watch its last 2 wins, or its only 2 wins in Victoria. Oh, sorry, in Australia. Winning by 5.5 and 5.3 in benchmark 64 and 78 grade, I think. I just really loved how it's won. The most recent was 8 days ago at Warwick Farm. Race was on from the 800-meter mark, and this horse was only getting stronger, I feel, when the race was over with 100 to go. And I just really liked how this horse produced a good time on a soft 6 track. Last 100 winners for the Child's Waterhouse Bot combo go at 26%. So last 100 runners, 26%. That's huge. I know it's horrible off at the weights. I know he should be getting at least 12 kilos off Solcombe in a handicap race, but I'm happy to trust my eye here and how these races are rated. It'll be race on from about the 800. Childs will start pushing the button, going through the gears, and geez, I don't know how they're going to get past him. Price is a little bit poison, I think, but I'm just still going to bag it because I just think it wins. Solcombe, interesting runner here. Matty's been with it twice. I think he wants to put it in the bin and ban this horse, which I totally understand, but I think you've got to have something small on it. Forgive first up. It was lame, 1,600 metres. That's not its distance. Second up, 2,000 metres, went a bit better, but it was the last 100 metres that really caught my eye, and I went, no, I think you're ticking over a bit better than what we think. Do note that this horse's goal is the Melbourne Cup. Now, I believe this horse is a race is a win and you're in. If I'm wrong, don't at me, please, but I just think it is. So it might be coming down here for its race. Now, 2,600 metres is in its prime zone to go. We know what happened first and second up. It's finally going to get an even tempo, which it hasn't seen in Australia. So what it did on very slow at Flemington first time in Australia, what's it going to do on an even tempo? It probably goes better. My only worry is they're going to be last with Midnight Blue off my map. It's just how much they're giving him a head start. If Childs gets this right with Goldman, they won't be catching him. But if he sits up and Solcombe can start to build into his work and get close, it's going to be race on. And I think we've got to forgive it around the $6. It's just a small bet to have, but I'm quite keen Goldman as a big bet. Young Werther, touch unlucky. The gap closed when race was on, and then when he finally gap reopened, went back to the inside. I thought his run looked better than form suggests. So at the 650, I wouldn't talk you out of him. Matty, your thoughts?
Mate, just glad you mentioned Solcombe. Yeah, look, it's a difficult one. I was expecting, obviously, it to run a lot better in its prior 2 races. Maybe we haven't been told all information about the horse. So this will be a watch for me in terms of Solcombe. I can see how you've landed on Goldman here. Very impressive and starting to build that picket fence. So I think it'll be a good race. So Unusual is the other one that obviously, Worm, I think you backed that previously as well. So Unusual.
Nah.
Might have been against.
We're against it. We're on Timor. What did that do last start?
That's right. Just the race before standard. That's all right.
So
interesting race. Over 2,600 metres. No excuses for Solcombe this time around. So yeah, be a good race.
Yeah, I can't knock So Unusual at all. Timor came out and won on Saturday, which absolutely almost sent me home packing because I've got a good record of backing horses and winning next start. But coming out of 2 very fast races and now an even one, yes, the form's stacking up, but I don't know. Has his grand finals been those other runs and they're pushing on where there's a couple of other horses that are a bit more fresher. So definitely can't knock it, but I just cannot be with what the map could eventually be come race. Race 8, Matty, the Choices Flooring Handicap, 1,400 metres. Take it away.
Mate, reviewing this race, didn't find too much pace on. I think they're almost going to be falling out of the gates. And a couple from the inside, like Turn on the Charm and Milton Park, could actually find themselves in the lead, and that's a fairly unfamiliar spot for them. They're usually a midfield spot, but there's not really too much pace in this race. But before I do go through the 4 horses I want to speak about, Wim, have you got the odds there for us?
I do. We just got to get them in order here. We have the favourite here around 370 top odds is Elation, Daytona Bay 440, Pinstripe 750, Cardinal Gem $9, and El Rocker $10. You can have $20 plus the rest.
Thanks, mate. Look, 2 I want to talk about here are in the market, but I think there's 2 here I do like at odds. So first one's Pinstriped. Look, Pinstriped was very disappointing last start after a brilliant prep last campaign. He's got the ability to be right on the finish here. I'd probably prefer Pinstriped here, though. I think it's probably better suited to a place bet. I think or a top 5 chance and potentially a win chance. Now, not an option. This is one of 2 horses that I like at big odds. It's currently, what are we? Around about the $18 mark for not an option. And look, I think it'll probably start around that mark on the day, but I wouldn't knock you for backing it now. Now, 4th Up has been racing exceptionally consistently, and it's going to be rock hard fit for this start. Within its last 2 starts, there's been a couple of lengths of Scalapini, and Scalapini's been racing exceptionally well. Only thing I don't necessarily like for not an option is the wide gate. Jump in from barrier number 14, you'll move in 1 because barrier number 12 has been scratched. I think that will be something that it needs to overcome, but I'm expecting it to be right in the mix, and I think it's one that is well and truly over the odds. So not an option. I'm quite keen to be including that in my numbers, considering this is a quaddy leg as well. It will definitely be in there. Superior, back in Melbourne where it's shown its best form. It's been up in Sydney for a bit and hasn't been racing badly, but just hasn't been able to really get on the podium or get close to winning. But the numbers it's producing is quite strong in a race like this, where a lot of the horses aren't capable of running better than benchmark. So Superior, it's done it previously. It's done it previously in Melbourne, where it's been able to run like a 1.5 lengths better than benchmark. If it was to live up to even anywhere near that, it's going to be in the top 3. So Superior, big overs again, around about the $18 marks, and I will be included in my exotic numbers, and I think it's got a real chance of giving my top selection, which is Elation, a big push. So I do have Elation on top. Now, this horse hasn't, what was its last start? Not since August, where it ran in the Memsey, and the jockey reported that it had breathing difficulties. So I think you can forgive it there. Prior to that, had been racing exceptionally well, Elation. Now, it's definitely up to this class, and it's definitely able to beat these horses on its day. What I don't like is jumping from the second widest gate, barrier number 15, which will be brought into barrier number 14. So where it's going to settle in the race may not be the best, but if you line up these horses, Elation to me has a clear class gap to the rest of this field. So I do have Elation on top, Worm, but doesn't necessarily mean it's the best bet within the race. So I'd probably be preferring to play Superior and not an option rather than Elation as my main bet. Doesn't mean you can't have a saver on Elation, but Superior and not an option, I think at that high teens are the 2 good plays within this race. Worm, how did you see it?
Yeah, Elation. Jump out was okay. I personally wanted to see it go better at $3.60. I know it won, but I don't know. It just doesn't look like the horse that everyone's talking it up to be. But you just got to look at that day at the Memsey. It SP'd 850 against Cascadian. I'm thunderstruck. So some really good horses. And on that day, it was on pace. So it sat last. Okay, got beaten 9 lengths. As we said, they reckon it's pulled up with an issue. So you got to respect that SP, and I can see why it's that price. But off that jump out and potential map, I just can't be with that. If it was $5-6, I'm probably saying it's worth a bet because you don't have to have much on. But it could be quite scary here. In 15, they could roll forward and sit outside leader. And we're going, oh, shit, I've got it completely wrong. So I'm not going to take him on and say we're going to lay him because I just want to, if I find out they're rolling forward, I'm keeping him on my side. If I know they're going back to last, I'm definitely going to take him on. So that's two. I know it's sitting on the fence there, but you've got to, if there's any info, please send it through to me so I can make a call on it. Cardinal Gem, do you give it any chance?
Absolutely, yeah, you can definitely make a case for Cardinal Gem. I think it was a little bit unlucky that's previous couple of runs. So it's, for me, I didn't have it in my top 4, but I could easily make a case for it just outside of that. And yeah, it's proven to be able to win with this type of race previously. So yeah, do give it a chance, won't you?
Yeah, Barrier 9 just scares me a little what they do. It's going to sit in no man's land. I know you can do that at Flemington, but I don't want to be there. I just think the gap closed on it when it was trying to make a run with Pinstripe in that race. I thought it went better than Pinstripe when the gap then went to the inside. So no, $8. I think you can have a small play on it. But number 8 turned the charm. Went to Brisbane in an open handicap. And it was a total forgive. Just sat on the inside and, yeah, saw more rears than Molly Meldrum at a concert. So SP'd $8 that day, and they're asking you to take 23. So I think I can get involved here and like a 1x3 again. But do note, double accepted in Brisbane. So if they go to Brisbane, I'm going to have a crack there. But hopefully it stays in Melbourne and we can cheer home a $23 winner with a small each way play. Yeah. Good tough race. Hopefully we've landed on the same. Hopefully we land one for the listeners.
Number of those at double-digit odds. So, yeah, I think there could be a bit of value to be had within this. If, as you said, Elation has to go back rather than push forward.
Yeah. Tough weekend of punting, guys. So it was very hard to find races that we can really launch into. So might be a weekend where you just sort of back off a little bit and...
Well, mate, just hold your horses. We're not at the end of the show just yet.
No, we're not. But, there's a lot of tough races out there. You can just pick your races and you'll be fine, I reckon. WhatsApp, guys, or subscribe to our channel. Please get in contact with Matty or myself. I'll put my email down below on one of the socials. We'll put you straight through. Hit me up on emails if you would like to join. And, it's a great community of people sharing their thoughts. More importantly, me and Matty sharing our thoughts on other races on Saturdays. And, good bunch of people. Get involved if you want to talk horse racing, sport, anything. There's a lot of sickos, including us, in there. And, it lights up every Saturday. Just want to give a shout out to Ray. I shared it with Matty, the email we got from you, Ray. Really appreciate your thoughts. Your words, mate. We do it for free, and everything we do is free. No paywalls, no nothing. We just love doing this. So getting emails like that really spurs us to keep going. And there's reasons why we do it, because people are watching and people are appreciative of what we do. So something like that. Thank you, Ray. Really appreciate it. And dead set, me and Ray were punching out some emails last Friday. I reached out to him and asked him how he did his form. He's 40 years experience in the game. Does it differently. And this is what's so good about the game. There's no wrong way of doing form. If it works for you, keep going with it, because, Ray I just asked him and he, gave me a few little tips for weight for age racing. So, Ray, I really appreciate it. And, both me and Matty really appreciate what you did. And to the guy that turned off after 1 minute last week, hopefully he stayed around and you're watching this week, mate. Hopefully we're a bit better for you. You know, it's not everyone's cup of tea. We know that, but we think we do well and we like what we do. So we know it's not everyone's cup of tea. So please keep them positive and give us some, if you think we should be doing something else, I'm happy to hear the feedback, but positive ones mainly, please.
Oh, mate, we're 20 minutes in and we haven't mentioned the footy till now, so you should be happy.
I'm just waiting for you to raise your fist here when he lines up from 50 here and drills it. So both Matty and I are watching a certain game. I won't mention it because I don't want to lose another viewer.
Mate, I might be on Fox. I reckon I'm 30 seconds delayed, so you can punch your fist for me.
Yep. Nope.
That's not good.
No. So around the grounds, mate, where are you going?
Mate, we're going up to Sydney. It's a really good weekend of racing up in Sydney. And I was almost going to preview race number 7 up there. What particular race is it? It's the
Binary
Stud. That's it. I was almost going to review it, and I got to the bottom of the field, and generally I like talking about a few horses or races that do have a couple of chances in there, so we can provide some insight into some of these tougher races. I don't necessarily like previewing races with Animo in it, but realistically, I got to the bottom of this worm, and I had to just scroll straight back to the top. Mate, there is only one chance in this race. You don't have to go any further than number 1. This New Zealand horse has been hot, and I'm really excited to see Mark Zahra on board, Prowess, up in Sydney in this race. I think it's, for a Vinery Stud Group 1, I don't think it's very deep at all, and I think this horse is lengths better than anything else in this race. Pavitra, how that's 3:30. I do not know. And how Prowess is 260, I do not know either. I've already jumped on because I don't think we'll be getting 260 on Saturday. So Prowess for me is my around the grounds for this week. Worm, where did you land?
Just give me 2 more seconds. I'm just having a bit now. Thank you. Interesting you say that. I like to look at their ratings, what their official rating is. This horse is 108 rater in a 3-year-old race. Next is Fireburn at 103, who's going just okay. And then you got Petreva, 92, 88, 78, 76. It is 30 ratings better than the 3rd and 4th horses, and they're at level weights.
Level weights. This is astounding.
We're not using that M word, all right? Don't use it. Just
I never do. I never do. But what I do like about the horse, though, is it's going to sit forward. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to lead in this race. Barrier number 4, Mark Zahra will probably take a sit. But from barrier number 4, he doesn't need to find the rails either. He's only going to let a couple of horses pass him, and he's going to be able to peel out whenever he wants. He'll just hold it up, and it'll look very, very good on the corner. As long as it's travelling, I tell you what, 260, very, very nice.
I've never heard you be this bullish before, and that scares the shit out of me. Wow, look at the SPs last two, $1.60, $1.20. Wowee, I've never heard you that bullish, punters. So, wow.
Only a couple of times.
Yeah, that's quite scary. Around the grounds for me, I'm going to go Flemington Race 6, number 8, What You Need. How could you not be impressed what this did on Newmarket Day? He's absolutely pissed him. It should and will do this again. I just thought the jockey was quite soft on the horse with 100 to go. I'm not worried about Benedetta, actually. I know they've scratched from the William Reid and they're going to go to this, but it draws the wrong part of the track, barrier 1. So I'm not saying it's going to be cuddled up and unlucky, but they'll be spread right out, and normally middle to outside is the way to go. And at 17, barrier 17, What You Need can just sit wherever it wants, track nicely, and I can't wait to see what acceleration is. Great race, but yeah, I'm happy to be with What You Need here. That's it for me. Matty, what are you going to throw in?
I almost feel criminal doing this, but we did agree this pre-race that we were just going to go Prowess the play. So I feel like I need to improve that to a win. For the multi, we will go the place because I like your 2 legs as well. But yes, we all know my thoughts on the horse.
Yeah. So only one. Well, you must be really confident. If you're only chucking one in and going the place, wow, I'm quite scared. Yeah, this is really throwing me punters because Matty never really gives anything a massive push, and he's just saying, "Hey, everyone, get your crayons out, write it down, just boom." Yeah, so we're going to go Prowess the place. Richmond, I'm going to chuck them in the win the AFL. I think they're going to cover Adelaide. I don't rate them. I know it's at home, and that's why I think we're getting a price with Richmond around the $1.60. And I'm going to chuck Goldman in the win. Race 5 at Flemington. So that comes around $6. So that's Richmond to beat Adelaide, Goldman to win race 5 at Flemington, and Matty's going to go Prowess the place, $6, 3-legger. You can use certain brands to bet return if one of them doesn't go down. I know there's a Team Blue that's let you do place multis and do bet return. So maybe have a look at that, but we won't need the bet return because this will be going well. Pineapple of the week. Well, even last week we found Dubai Honor. Matty found Mr. Brightside, and I made Munamek my pineapple of the week. I know he was short at the end, but when I chucked him out, he was close to $1.90 or $1.95. So it was a good result for the listeners. And yeah, a few people text me that listened to the show and they were very thankful of our hard work. So that was good. So we're going to roll again. We're going to smash it out of the lights. Pineapple of the week. So I had one in place and I've never changed my mind mid-show. I've just gone and watched the replay while you've just told me it's winning. Yeah, we're going with you, Matty. I'm going to follow you in here. Rose Hill, race 7, number 1, Prowess. The price is just silly. It should be $2 come race time. Form around it. Champanessa. It is a genuine Group 1 horse that is a really good horse in New Zealand, like A-grade material. It beat Le Creek, we did. And now we're going back to, drops back to its own age and own sex. Now, please, get your pockets, fill them up, and just launch. It's a launch party, this one. Race 7, number 1, Prowess. Now, I'll just touch on this. In the Australian Cup, Champion Nessa should be running. It's an emergency. It's an utter disgrace of Victorian racing that it's not running. It's an 100 rater or 105, and Bank Mer gets in with a rating of 84. Like, dead set, piss off. Put this horse in because it will generally run a good race in the Aussie Cup. One of the hardest fields I've seen, but yeah, if I keep going, we'll be going until midnight and Matty won't get to watch the last quarter. So, yeah, Rose Hill, race 7, number 1, Prowess. Gamble responsibly, but dead set, have a crack. All right. Thank you again, Matty, for joining us. Next week is off-peak racing for Melbourne. So I'm tipping Matty's going to go up Sydney way, which would be good. We'll be back next Thursday, hopefully. And, yeah, any last words, Matty?
I'm looking forward to it. A bit of off-peak racing. That's when we learn about the future.
Yeah, we do. And, yeah. Oh, I'm going to stop before I start saying launch into race 7, number 1, Prowess. Gamble responsibly. Thank you, guys.
I'm not a good person, but it just goes to show that good things do happen to bad people. So anyone out there who's up against the wall, fucking stick to it. Every cent you got, your rent, your electricity bill, if you're going to buy your missus a ring, don't fucking do it. Keep punting. Keep fucking punting.